Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Give you guys a chance to come into the chat. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School. And I want to address something that is a little bit controversial. It has to do with a brother that really went through some stuff. And I'm going to try to be as nice as I can about it and as fair as I can about it so that you all can tell me what you think. His name is Andrew
See me
Gillum.
okay?
And
Give you guys a chance to
hold
come
on.
into the chat. My name is
And Andrew is a brother that ran for governor in Florida, and he almost won. He got very, very close to being governor, and I was really happy for him. And I wanted him to win because I thought that he was a smart guy. I still do. And anyway, it's really crazy. Um, he. It's funny. I was talking about him today, right? So I was in the car with Alicia, and Alicia got her PhD at Florida State, which is in Tallahassee, which is where Gilliam, was an attorney. And so I was driving in the car with her, and I said, one person we haven't heard from in a while is that brother Andrew Gilliam. I said, I wonder if he's ever gonna come out and talk. I don't know if any of y'all expected him to talk anytime soon or what, but but I said, I wonder if he's ever going to say anything. And when he does, I wonder what he's going to say. And I literally said that, and I said, nah, he'll probably take a while. He may not ever come back out because that was heavy. And I swear, I kid you not, I swear to you, 45 minutes later, Faye Bishop, a friend of mine by the name of Faye Bishop, a smart sister on who's on Instagram, by the way, you can follow her. She sent me this link out of the blue and said, she said, look, Andrew Gilliam just put this video up today and it's on his Instagram. I was like, what? So it was really stunning that I happened to be talking about him on the same day that he came out and talked for the first time. I just think that's really crazy. Like literally within 30 minutes this happened. So anyway, do me a favor. Let me know if can you hear me or see me? Can you hear me and can you see me? If you can hear me and see me, just give me a yes in the chat. Shout out the city that you're from in the chat also. And also, I want you guys to know that you're here at drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, you probably want to get the fuck out. This is not the place for you. But if you are Black and intelligent, then this is the place for you to remind you that intelligence and Blackness have become cool again, and we're gonna keep it cool. So, hey O'Shea, how you doing? Prior auto review. Can you guys hear me? Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, just give me a yes or no in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, good. All right, thank you. That's helping me out. I appreciate that. All right, so what I want to do is I want you all to hear Gilliam's words from Gilliam. I don't want you to hear the Boyce Watkins summary of what Andrew Gilliam had to say. I want you to hear the Andrew Gilliam summary of what he had to say. And I've got my thoughts and my analysis and the questions I have, and I'd love to see your questions. And so what I did was I took the brother's video because I want to I want to be as sensitive as I can be on this because I have some feelings on it. I have some feelings about that world that he was in and how that world that he was in played a part in shaping who he is, how he responded to this, what happened to him, everything else. And if you don't know the whole story, basically Andrew Gilliam was like he's kind of like a baby Obama. He was like a baby Barack Obama. That's what I call him. All these Barack Obama lookalikes, who wear the same color clothes, use the same language, use the same mannerisms, because that was a winning formula, right? So now, even when I was in Guyana, we were stunned at how the president dressed like Obama and carried himself like Obama. So Obama shaped how Black politicians carried themselves, particularly the males. So Andrew Gilliam, being a baby Obama, runs for governor of Florida, almost wins, does a great job. He's a brilliant lawyer, well liked. A lot of people know who he is. And then he gets caught in a hotel room with this in this situation that you would just never imagine. I mean, he was in a hotel room with a dude. I guess they're both passed out, and the dude was like a male stripper. There's drugs in the room. There's, of course, liquor everywhere. And then there's this really damning picture of him sort of keeled over in his own vomit, passed out in the middle of his own vomit. Now, I'm not going to show that picture because I don't want to be an ass today. I don't feel like being that much of an ass. I already get called an ass enough. So I'm not going to show that picture, but I will show this picture that's behind my head. That apparently is, you know, the guy that just happened to be in Andrew's room. There he is. He's right behind my head. You can see him. And yeah, so there's that. All right, so let me let me show you guys. I want to play this clip where I want you guys to see what Andrew Gillum has to say, and I want you to hear it from Andrew Gillum's mouth. I don't want you to hear it from me. I put it on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, go to The Real Boyce Watkins. Also, please take one moment, hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. So here, I'm going to share my computer sound. I'm going to share this video. So here we go. Let's get this sucker played right now. Let me turn the volume up, make sure you can hear it. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Gillum. I know it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to connect, but as many of you know, I decided to take some time away to work on myself, deal with some issues that I was having. I went away to rehab to focus on my issues with alcoholism, having grown up in a household where my father battled addiction to alcohol and later died from complications from that deadly addiction. I know well the toll that alcohol can take on not only the individual, but also on the family. I know well the toll that it took on my father's dreams, on his hopes, on his ambitions. And I knew that if I didn't want to recycle many of those same issues for my children, that I had to do something about it, and I had to do it now. With a lot of encouragement from family and the people who love and care about me, I also got into therapy where I could start to talk through some of what was going on with me. I knew that if I had not dealt first with issues of addiction and the numbing that I chose with alcohol, there was no way I could start to pull back the layers and talk about what was truly happening underneath. Therapy created the outlet for me to be able to do that, to be able to talk to somebody. I had totally underestimated the impact that losing the race for governor had on my life and on the way those impacts started to show up in every aspect of my life. I didn't want to talk emotionally or really deeply about what had happened in the race for governor because it was a constant reminder of failure and my own personal failures. It was a reminder that I had let so many people down. It was a chorus of this voice that I tried for so long to quiet, which said that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't good enough. All the things that I wanted to suppress and numb and forget about, that depression around what I was experiencing there became far too much for me to keep down. And that's the real crazy thing about depression is that a lot of times we think we're dealing with it. We're strong and we'll put on a brave face and it bubbles up on the inside. But eventually what is bubbling up on the inside is going to come out. And I certainly know what it felt like to see that come out. The feelings I was having as a result of what happened in November, the fact that the office that I thought I could do the most for other people and for the state that I love, I no longer had access to. But not only that, after having spent 16, 17 years as an elected official, the thing I knew how to do well, the thing that gave me an outlet to go and try to change the community in the way that I thought would make it better, all of that was all of a sudden gone. And it really did cause me to think about my own purpose and my own value and what I could contribute, if anything. And I didn't want to have to face all those things. And so I numbed. I tried to suppress. I tried to ignore. And as I said, those things come up and they have a way of showing out. So I did the one thing that I knew I could do. And that was I got busy. For those of you on the outside, you were looking at me and you saw me on television. You saw me giving speeches and traveling and, posting on Instagram and Facebook like I was living my best life. And in truth, I was perfecting what it meant to wear the mask, suffering in silence because I simply could not bring myself to deal square on with what was happening more deeply inside of me. If there was a lesson to learn, if there was something I would want you to take from me, it would be don't be like me. Don't suffer in silence. Get access to the help that you need. So many of us, think that we got to perpetrate this image of perfection. I know I did. This image of strength, this image of I've got it all together. But the truth is nobody has it all together. That's the big secret. All of us are struggling and trying and clawing at trying to be something else when we really ought to be trying to just be at home in ourselves. And that's really the journey that I'm on right now. This very deep down desire to want to be a whole and complete and indivisible person, not having to be one thing in one place and one thing in another and a different person, when I'm in this environment and in this setting. And I know that all of us struggle with different layers of that. While my stuff had to be, public and, cause, great embarrassment and lots of rumors, false, some true. The shame that I felt from all of that, from the harm that I had caused was tearing me up. I needed real help to try to unpack that. It's one thing to feel guilty for harm you feel you may have caused someone. That's how you know you're human. That's how you know you're not a sociopath. But shame is something completely different. Shame is like kudzu. It takes over you from the inside out. It has no real meaning and redeemable purpose other than to keep you from being the person you need to be, other than stopping you from being your truest self, other than keeping you from your own purpose and promise. It has no other purpose. It has no other meaning. It has no other desire. And so get rid of shame. Forget about shame. I know it took me quite a while to try to process my way through that. There's so much going on in the world. We got COVID. COVID hit very close to home for us. I watched my mother battle with that virus for over a month as we watched on helplessly, not sure how that whole thing was going to turn out, man. Take care of yourself. There's a lot of pressure there. There's pressure with what we're seeing right now in the country around this Black Lives Matter movement and anti-blackness. I know as a black man, what it means just to have to convince people that your life has meaning, convince people that, your life has purpose, not to be set above anybody, but just to be treated on a level that's equal with everybody else around you. That's a lot of pressure. And I think it sometimes causes us to look for other ways to try to numb and put ourselves in a different mindset and do some mind shift. But y'all, this thing is killing us. Depression is killing us. Suffering in silence is literally taking so many of our lives. And I would just want you not to have to experience what I had to experience to get to a place where you can try to begin the work to being at your best and to becoming your best self. I want to thank those of you who reached out, who sent letters and words and texts of encouragement. From the simplest to the most profound. One that stuck out particularly was someone who told me in the midst of my lowest point to be kind to myself. It just said, Andrew, remember to be kind to yourself. So I would share the same thing to you as you're struggling through whatever it is you're struggling with. Be kind to yourself. There is no perfect person. There's no perfect life. We're all just struggling to get by and to do better. And I know as I'm on my own journey here, I hope that I'll be able to share more layers that I'm developing and unveloping. I'm doing a lot of writing these days. I'm trying to put on paper a lot of what I'm experiencing right now. If not to just be cathartic for me, maybe it will help to serve as healing for for others out there as it works to heal me. It hopefully will be a way in which I can give back. Y'all, I want to thank a person who is my life partner, my wife, RJ, a woman who knows everything that I am and everything that I am not. And she chooses to love me anyhow. A woman who is literally God's grace on earth, the epitome of grace. I can't thank her enough for not just standing by me, but encouraging me through this and helping to prop me up on my leaning sides, and to tell me that even though we don't know what the future looks like, that she believes that this is just the beginning, and that the best is still yet to come, not just for me, but for her and for us and for our family. And so I would also pass that on to you to the extent that any of us need to just hear a word that says, our better days are still in front of us. This is a tough moment not to be out in the world and contributing. I have found it particularly difficult, but I want you to know that although I can't be what I would love to be for you and for myself and for my community at this time, I hope you know that I couldn't be those things because I couldn't be what I needed to be for me first. And that's what I'm working on at this point in time. So I hope you'll continue to send good thoughts and good vibes up for me and my family. I'll do the same for you. I know that there is better, that there is a promise for better. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Take care and God bless. Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Gillum.
All right. So let me come back in here. Here we go. I'm back. All right, guys. So in the chat, in a word, give me one word that describes how you feel about what Mr. Gillum just said in his speech, in his comeback speech. Give me one word to describe your reaction. I'm going to give you a couple of words that came to mind when I was thinking about his speech. One is the word vulnerability. The other is the word relatability. And I would almost call this, if I wanted to be cynical, I would call this planned vulnerability or contrived vulnerability, right? But at the same time, though, I want to be very, very sensitive to the fact that, I'm not here to try to judge the guy one way or the other. And if I was to judge him, I would judge him as a smart guy who graduated from a great HBCU called FAMU, who did a great job running for government. However, or running for governor, excuse me. So let me see here. So give me some. Okay, I see. Sharice says he's still being fake. Gillum needs a GoFundMe, says Mac. Thomas says come out of the closet. Okay, Steven. See, Steven Johnson. See, you. Why are you playing, Steven? Steven says some stuff that I'm not even going to repeat because y'all going to get me in trouble on YouTube because y'all know that there's certain groups and people we can't even address in a direct way. So I'm going to be real cautious with that. But what I am going to say is this. I saw him basically come. The speech was clearly planned, right? And I think the question I have for myself, two questions, and I want to get a yes or no from you guys. Do you think it was too soon? I almost feel like it was too soon. I feel like maybe a year literally it would take at least a year to wash off the stain of all of that. And even then you ain't gonna wash some things, you just can't wash off. Some stuff people can't forget, right? So I think it might've been a little bit too soon. Also, my question for him would be, what's the goal of this? Where are we going with this? What are we trying to accomplish with this speech? I heard him mention that I've been writing. That tells me there's probably a book on the horizon. He's probably going to write a book, and the book will have a goal, right? And I'm going to tell you, I really felt when I listened, and I wasn't listening as a cynic. I'm listening as a person who says, bro, I don't think you answered all the questions that people have. I don't think you answered people's questions. And the thing is, maybe this would work if you're talking about mainstream media. Maybe it works if you're talking about white media. But the internet ain't stupid, and the internet doesn't forget. And so I really think that, just at least acknowledging that there are some questions that were not answered here is important. Like, people are going to ask, like, did you bring up the meth? You brought up the liquor, right? And a lot of times, whatever people confess to is usually 1% of what they actually did, right? So you're talking about an alcohol problem, but people saw a whole lot more than alcohol in that hotel room, and people want to know what's up with the drugs, what's up with the meth. Like, people want to know that. And I thought about that actually, when I was listening to what he was saying, and I was correlating it with what I call the Obama playbook. Because I remember, he's a baby Obama. He's got the beautiful black wife that looks a little bit like Michelle, the beautiful black children. And I felt like he was going to the Obama playbook, because in the beginning, if you pay attention, first thing he mentioned was his father. That made me think about Obama's book, Dreams of My Father. That was one of his best-selling books, Dreams of My Father. So he starts talking about his father, and then he starts talking, he used the word hope. And I hate that word. I hate the word hope in politics, because hope is constantly peddled to black people in a very false way by the Democratic Party, and it leads us astray every single time, but we fall for it every single time. So if I look at comments and reactions, half the comments will be very direct. Some of the comments will be very perhaps naively optimistic, if you want to call it that. Now, I say all this to say that, I personally believe, if you want to know my policy on what you're doing in the bedroom, I'm more of a that's your business kind of guy, right? So some of you in here might be of different sexual orientations, but I don't really care. I don't care, as long as you're not trying to put your penis in me or in my woman, like, or my children, then we're okay. Right. So this idea of kind of judging based on what he's doing in private takes it to another level. But I think that what really got a lot of people is how sinister it was. It's just how it's just so inconsistent with the picture that was being painted to the public was. There was a picture being painted of a baby Obama. There was a picture being painted of a black man who loves his beautiful black wife and has his beautiful black children. And do they see you in a hotel room with a white dude who's naked, passed out on the bed next to some crystal meth with condoms all over the place and bloody feces all? I don't even want to repeat it, because it's just too much. It's too much. Like, it's like a shock. Like, people can't unsee it. People can't unhear it. And I think personally that a little more, I really think authenticity is the only way you can go at this point. I don't think you can come back and recreate yourself as the guy that you were before this happened. Like, that isn't gonna happen. That guy is dead. That guy is completely out of the closet. He ain't never coming back. Ain't nobody trying to believe none of that shit. So if you try that, I think people would be offended that you would even think that would work. When I thought about the vulnerability, one of the things I know, or the contrived vulnerability, if you want to call it that, but I'm not being critical. I don't want to be critical of this brother. I want to just be respectful of him and his family and what he's feeling. I feel sorry for him. I really feel bad for him, because I feel like, here's what I feel about Andrew Gillum. I feel like Andrew Gillum is a super smart, super ambitious, highly talented black man who just happens to have, some attractions that he's probably fought his entire life. I believe that he's trying to fit into a box that doesn't work for him. But here's what's fascinating to me too. You really think he's the only one out there? Or do you think he's the only one who got caught? Like, you really think, if you look at all these black politicians out here, all of them paint a little pretty picture just like that, you don't think that there's something else kind of happening in the background? When you go back and you look at that donor, that Democratic donor, Ed Buck, who's out there doing some really crazy things with black boys out there, like you don't think there's sort of an undercurrent of a culture there, that there's something systematic there, that it's not just a one-off. It's not just this one guy in this one situation who did this one thing. It comes off to me like there's something more there, and that if you pull the curtain back on a lot of these individuals, these perfect, maybe perfect black men with perfect black families, you will find a whole lot of stuff that would probably just blow your socks off. So I saw his vulnerability. laying out. I didn't see much accountability, Stephen. I agree with you. I didn't see much accountability in terms of really talking about what he did. And now the question is, how much accountability is necessary? I mean, yeah, use illegal drugs, sleeping drugs and hookers are bad. Like, don't mess with that, right? But there's no crime in being gay. That is not a crime, right? There's no crime in being now. But what is a problem is when you're, married, to this woman, and the question becomes, I think a lot of people would like to know, well, what did your wife know? When he said, my wife knows me for who I am and who I am not. I felt like something was going on with that. I'm like, so does that mean that she just knew? Is she another Hillary Clinton? Does she just kind of look at it like, yo, look, I'm about to ride this train to the governor's mansion, and it just is what it is. And I love this guy. I don't know. I don't really know. But I personally think that it's far more complex than he let on in this video. I think that that there's a lot more to see than what people are talking about. I felt that this vulnerability, it was almost like it was out of a script, out of a playbook. I saw him he starts off with what I honestly, sure, there are explanations, right? When you do certain things, you can connect it to past trauma. You can connect it to the challenges of addiction. You can connect it to depression. You can connect it to the pressures you were feeling. Absolutely. But I felt that it was like we were being rolled out a blanket list of planned excuses, one after the other. And they were designed to be relatable. So you would say, oh, you were depressed. Yeah, I was depressed too. Right. Or, or you were stressed out. Yeah, I'm stressed out too. Or, oh, your father was a piece of shit. Oh yeah, my father was a piece of shit too. Right. And so, because if you think about the relatability comes in when he starts talking about Black Lives Matter. Well, as a black man, right? Like, I'm a black man too, right? When he talks about what was it? When he talks about what was it? Not just his father, the depression, and there was something else. Oh, COVID, right? So he starts talking about COVID. Oh, well, I sat there helplessly watching my mother endure COVID. So one way to avoid accountability, Karens do this very well. Karens, really use they use victimization or vulnerability to cover up situations where they're asked to be accountable, right? So or for example, when you had the whole thing with Nick Cannon and anti-Semitism and all that, that was a cloak to avoid accountability, right? Because if I make myself the victim, if I describe to you what kind of pain I'm in and how sad my life is, you're going to spend too much time feeling sorry for me that you won't spend time, that you don't have any energy to be upset with me anymore or to hold me accountable anymore. And so I think he's going to write a book. I think the big picture that Black people can see from this is that if you look at this, think about this week, think about what we've had just this week alone. 3 major incidents involving prominent Black people that all involve Negroes going crazy, trying to mix it in with white folks, right? You had Nick Cannon, who's out here doing the apology tour, apologizing for things he did not do, apologizing multiple times, and almost speaking in a way that almost sounds like his soul was yanked out of his body. You had Tamar Braxton, who ended up almost killing herself over the stresses that she was feeling from the way WeTV and that reality show was destroying her family. WeTV, by the way, is owned by the same family of the guy that owns the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks owner, James Nolan, was called out for racism. So this is the family that owns WeTV. So they just create this fake Black media and market it to you and make you think it's a Black-owned company when it's not, right? So she's going crazy to the point of almost wanting to take her own life. Now you get Andrew Gillum, who is pretending to be something that he's not, to the point where he's depressed and he's getting high and he's laying down with strippers, male strippers and all that. Look, again, I don't really judge who you sleep with or whatever, but or not strippers, sorry, hookers. But I'm gonna just tell you like this, drugs and hookers, not only are they illegal, but that's some dangerous stuff. Like you're playing with in a very dangerous world. It's not like he was with another woman or something, or did something that people can understand and relate to. This man was doing the things that the worst criminals do. Like the worst criminals are the ones you find in a hotel room with a hooker and some drugs. So in that particular situation, you can't sort of write this off as a standard vulnerability or some sort of relatable mishap that millions of people are going to understand. People don't get that. The family values folks who loved you because you had that Black wife and those beautiful Black children do not understand. They're not going to be able to relate to a dude who was in a room with a dude, with another dude, butt ass naked with some meth on the floor. Like, that's just not something Black folks get. We just don't get that. I don't know if you guys follow what I'm saying, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to say here is to just summarize, and I'm not trying to be hard on this guy at all. I'm just trying to be completely honest with you. That's my job. My job is to be honest. My job is not to make friends. I don't know if Andrew Gillum would see this commentary and get upset with me, or if he would, if he would say thank you for pushing me to do what I really knew I needed to do in the first. I have no idea. He can come on. He's welcome to come on here if he wants. Alicia is, she lives in Tallahassee, went to Florida State. She mentioned to me that Andrew Gillum was highly respected in his community, and I think it's because he deserved it. He's a smart guy. He's great. And maybe he would be great in office. He's not great for me because I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm Black. A lot of the things the Democratic Party pushes are things that I don't relate to, right? I don't relate to, or even when he was talking that stuff about we're not trying to be better than anybody, but just want to be equal like everybody else. I don't believe in equality. I believe every culture, every group of people competes, and I believe in things like powernomics, where I don't want Black people to be equal. I don't run a race to tie. I run a race to win. So I want Black people to win. I want Black people on top. I want our kids to be more educated. I want our kids to be wealthier. I want our community to have the same power that other communities have when they come into Nick Cannon saying, boy, you better apologize or you're going to lose your job. I want our grandchildren to have that same level of power where they can say, look, we ain't here to talk to you about what's right and what's wrong or what's fair. We're here to talk to you about who's got the power and who doesn't, right? So, because that's the world I believe that we live in. But that does not mean I can't relate and appreciate a guy like a Gilliam in terms of who he could be for the world. I really wonder this. Here's another question I would ask him is, if you could not manage, if you're claiming that the reason that you were in the hotel room with the male hooker with the drugs is because you couldn't handle the pressure of losing the gubernatorial race, that would make me question if you're even in the right profession. If this is a one-off where I just lost it, I lost my mind, and I normally don't do this kind of thing. I just did it because I was under so much pressure from losing. Well, I'm kind of like, how would you have handled being governor of Florida? Like you're kind of arguing against yourself to me, because you're saying that, look, I can't handle pressure. I don't know how to handle pressure without ending up in a hotel, without lying to my wife about going to a wedding and ending up in a hotel room with a hooker and some drugs. I think that there are probably other ways to relieve stress. Maybe you can eat Skittles or something, right? Maybe there are some people who handle stress by running. They run 20 miles a day or whatever. But that's an unhealthy coping mechanism, which says that you probably want to spend your time working on you, and whatever has happened to you, whatever it was about that culture, because that ain't Black culture. That ain't like, Black people don't raise our kids to kind of get involved with the drugs and the hookers and all that. Forget the whole thing about being gay, right? That happens, right? It happens in every society, I believe. But the whole thing about, if I told my daddy lately, yeah, I'm gonna go hire me a hooker and I'm gonna go get some meth, he would say, what are you doing? Like, that's crazy. Like, we didn't raise you like that, right? So that's not Black people stuff. And the reason I connect this brother here, Gillum, with Tamar and Nick, is because there's something that occurs when you get Black people that are trying to fit in with cultures that are not their own. There's something that occurs when they get mixed up in Hollywood culture, or they get mixed up in that Democratic Party liberal culture, and they come back and they start doing stuff that doesn't make any sense, getting into stuff that we don't do. When Richard Pryor was talking about, oh yeah, I wanted to know what it was like to sleep with a man. So I slept with a man for 3 weeks and I didn't like it. So I switched back to women. Black people just don't do that. I'm not saying that none of us do. I'm not saying it never happens. Everything happens everywhere, but that's not a standard part of our culture, right? Like standard parts of our culture are like eating grandma's soul food on Sundays, or having Big Mama in the house, or maybe some bad stuff, like all of our little boys wanting to be basketball players or rappers, right? Right. So there's a lot of things about our culture that are there. That's not one of them. And so the other thing I would say is that, just to kind of conclude on this, because and we talked about it a lot on my Instagram. If you want to go have a good conversation about it, feel free to go to my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and because I want to have an intelligent discussion about this. I think that he needs to do an honest interview. I think that his wife, given that his wife wasn't in that video, I think his wife needs to be at that interview, and I think they need to take questions from real people, not some questions from some journalist who's paid to cover up the truth, because people don't trust media. People don't trust, people don't trust the the facade. People need to know what's real. And I really believe that if you're real with people, they'll accept you for who you are. But I think it just to start, just the beginning of it, like if you come out, Andrew Gillum, and you come out and you start telling people that, oh, I'm just a regular black man like you with a wife, and I'm a regular heterosexual man, or I'm heterosexual like everybody. Ain't nobody gonna believe that. People gonna be like, okay, there he goes lying again. There he goes lying again. Oh, you talking about the liquor, but you can't talk about the meth, right? People ain't gonna go for that. So that's my belief on this. I hope I did not sound like I was being too hard on him, because my heart went out to him. I felt like I'm a believer in just being who you are. I think that you're never going to be better at being somebody else than you are at being yourself. And so even with myself, warts and all, I come out here and I'm cussing and just saying the stuff that would get me fired from anybody's job. That was a process too, in terms of loving myself and saying I don't have to fit into a cookie cutter kind of lifestyle. And that's why I won't ever run for office, because there's too much fakeness there. And I just think that Gilliam became a victim of his own illusion. His illusion is what took him down, because you can't tell me this guy's not a smart guy. I watched him, how he carried himself before the incident. And so when the incident took place, I was completely shocked, because I did not even suspect that he had all this other stuff going on. But I will tell you this, mark my words, he ain't the only one. And some of them are super famous and you love them to death. And one day something's going to pop off and you're going to find out some stuff that's going to make your head spin. Take it from a guy who's kind of been around a few famous people, and there's a whole lot going on that y'all don't even want to know about. So that's my 2 cents on it. That's what I think. I'm sticking with it. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget, we're building a Black-owned movie industry, so you don't have to go beg Hollywood to give you opportunities. Our films, The Black Love Blueprint and Resurrecting Black Wall Street, we just found out that Resurrecting Black Wall Street was ranked number 10 out of 700 films on Quayle TV, which is Quayle is the Black-owned version of Netflix. It's not Netflix-owned. It's owned by a beautiful, wonderful, intelligent young Black woman, and she created an app. So feel free to go check out Quayle TV, KWELI TV. So the Resurrecting Black Wall Street was number 10 with 309,000 views this quarter. And then our other film, The Black Love Blueprint, was number 15 with about 189,000 views. So we are building a Black-owned movie industry thanks to you guys. And so Black Movie Night is a part of that. You want to be able to create the product, but then you also want to create the audience. So it becomes like playing catch. You got catcher's mitts on each side. So you're throwing the ball back and forth. The producers are creating content. They're throwing it to the audience. The audience is throwing back what they want, right? And that's what we got to do. We can do what they're doing. Whatever Hollywood's doing, you don't have to be their slave. You can actually own something and build something of your own. And that's why I wear shirts like this, to remind you that I'm B1 every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And if you guys want to join us for Black Movie Night, we're going to watch the film we're going to watch the film Black Friday, directed by Rick Mathis. I'm in the film. David Banner is in the film. Chuck D is in the film. Les Brown is in the film. And it's a great film about Black wealth and Black power and all the great things Black people are doing. So if you want to register for free, go to blackmovienight.net. blackmovienight.net. Somebody please share this video with your friends and family. If you could, please give me a confirmation that you'll share this link on your Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, because you are part of our distribution process. We're going to do this damn thing. So blackmovienight.net. It's July 23rd, 8 p.m. Make sure you get there early, because we always sell out of space. So we don't sell. You don't have to pay, but we have limited capacity. We can only take 3,000 people inside the Zoom room. We fill up within 5 minutes, not even, probably 3 minutes. So you want to get there early. All right, guys. I'm about to bounce. Hit the thumbs up button right now. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. And I'll be back a little bit later. I'm going to do an analysis on the Black Financial Channel about stimulus checks and what's coming around the horizon for that, as well as all the tech stocks that took off today on the stock market. So you guys know we keep it moving around here, because we believe in building Black-owned media. That way you don't have to pretend to be somebody else. You can just be yourself, because you are beautiful the way you are, and I want you to just be as great as you can be. So take care, guys. Have a good day. Love you, and I shall see you soon. Take care. Peace.